What is going on, my fellow Kings fans? Now, today was the NBA trade deadline, and within the past couple of days, the Kings have actually made 4 different trades. Earlier this week, they traded a second-round pick for Mfiondu Kabengele for a second-round pick. Then last night, after the win, they traded Corey Joseph to Detroit, along with 2 second-round picks for Delon Wright. And today they trade Nemanja Bjelica to South Beach for Maurice Harkless and Chris Silva. And right before the trade deadline and right before time had expired, they acquired Terence Davis from the Toronto Raptors just for a second-round pick. And in order to clear roster space, they waived Mfiondu Kabengele before he ever played a game for the Kings. And they waived Jabari Parker, who I'm really glad is gone because, seriously, the way Luke Walton treated him was just so unfair. He wouldn't even play him, ever, no matter what the score of the game. And I'm glad that Jabari now has an opportunity to where he can go to a team where he could actually get playing time, or at least I hope so. I'm going to give you guys a little insider on the 4 newest members of the Sacramento Kings. First off, we have Maurice Harkless. Now, I've been following this guy for years. And Maurice Harkless was a one and done and was the first pick after the lottery in the 2012 NBA draft. And he's had a pretty successful career. Started off with the Orlando Magic, then he was basically just given away for free to the Portland Trail Blazers, where he excelled and where he had the best years of his career. I mean, he started for a team that made the Western Conference Finals, for crying out loud. And that was only 2 years ago. I believe that he is definitely a really huge upgrade for the backup small forward spot. And I know he didn't get much playing time in Miami, but the Miami Heat have so many small forwards. They didn't even have a spot for him in the rotation, but that doesn't mean that he's done with his NBA career or he's already declined this fast. No. I believe that Maurice Harkless will be doing whatever he can do to get a new contract offer from the Kings this offseason. Next up, Delon Wright. Many of you might remember Delon Wright, who played most of his NBA career with the Warriors and the Heat. Now, Delon Wright is the younger brother of Delon Wright, but he plays nothing like him at all. He's a point guard who kind of does a little bit of everything for as far as a point guard or what a point guard needs to do. This guy averaged 10, 5, and 5 for Detroit. I'm pretty sure that's higher statistically in every category than what Corey Joseph had. He's actually been in the league for some time. He was the 20th pick of the 2015 NBA draft, and he started off his career with the Toronto Raptors, was a part of the Marc Gasol trade and got sent to Memphis. Then he signed with the Dallas Mavericks, then was traded to the Detroit Pistons, and now here he is in Sacramento. I'm really excited to see what Delon Wright can do as the backup point guard to De'Aaron Fox, filling in the shoes of Corey Joseph. And he's kind of a local guy. I mean, he has already lived in Northern California as he played for San Francisco City College before he ended up at Utah. Chris Silva is definitely, out of the 4 new players, Chris Silva is the one I know the least about. He was a 4-year college player at the University of South Carolina. He actually is from Africa and didn't even start playing basketball until he was 16 years old already. But what I do know about Chris Silva is I remember watching the Heat in the NBA bubble last year. I can't remember if it was the playoffs or not, but I remember watching this guy thinking, wow, this guy's really powerful, he's strong, and I see potential in this kid. Now here he is in a Kings uniform. Like Maurice Harkless, he didn't play very much for the Heat, but that's not to say that, he's not going to end up playing here. I'm really excited to see what Chris Silva can bring to the table. And last, but certainly not least, Terence Davis. Terence Davis was also a 4-year college player at the University of Mississippi, better known as Ole Miss. Now, he actually has a bit of a story. In 2019, he actually asked NBA teams to not draft him. Why was that? Because he wasn't interested in being on a 2-way contract. He didn't want to spend most of his time in the G League. He wanted to actually be on an NBA roster, so he took that gamble on himself, and boy did it pay off. He was a rotation player as an undrafted rookie, mind you, for a playoff team in the Toronto Raptors. Now there is kind of a red flag with Terence Davis that really questions some Kings fans, due to the fact that in the offseason he was arrested for a supposedly domestic violence case, which since then all charges have been dropped. But one player who was in a very similar situation that just got traded not too long ago was Kevin Porter Jr. of the Houston Rockets. Like Terence Davis, Kevin Porter Jr. was arrested in the offseason, and that led him to getting traded. And Kevin Porter Jr. absolutely just lit it up in the G League and is doing great with the actual Houston Rockets team now. And it looks like the Houston Rockets got a huge robbery from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and hopefully Terence Davis can end up being in a similar situation to Kevin Porter Jr. as far as his success with his new team. So those are the 4 newest members of the Sacramento Kings. Just a little bit of what I would like you guys to know about them. And Nemanja Bjelica, Corey Joseph, Jabari Parker, thank you for your time in Sacramento. I will miss all 3 of you being on the Kings, and I wish you best of luck with your new teams. So stay tuned for more content from Crowns and Buckets. More videos coming soon. I'm trying really hard to be more consistent as far as posting videos on this channel opposed to my other channel. It's about cinema. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. Join the Crowns and Buckets family, and stay tuned for more content.